In 1961, scientists discovered the manuscript that deserves the title of the strangest manuscript with all merit. The language in which the manuscript was written was studied for 50 years. This is what was documented by scientists, and we do not know whether it was studied before this or not. The result was the same. Coming out of the study without any information, all linguists and archaeologists failed to decipher any code or understand anything from this manuscript. The approved name for the manuscript is the Voynich manuscript. The story of the manuscript began when an old book dealer named Hans Crowns donated it to the New York Public Library after failing to understand it. Hans had bought the manuscript as part of a collection of old books that he had bought from the heirs of the writer, collector, and language expert Wilfried Michael Voynich. Voynich was the one who kept this manuscript the most in modern times and kept it from 1912 until 1930, and then it remained in his house with the heirs until 1961, until Hans Crowns bought it. Therefore, it was the name of the manuscript was attributed to Voynich for this reason only, and not because he was able to interpret even one letter of it. When the employee responsible for sorting the books donated to the New York Public Library to classify them, and when he reached the Voynich manuscript, he was confused about which section to put it in, and he was confused about which language it was in, and he showed the manuscript to a more senior employee to provide assistance. And the same problem. He did not understand anything from the manuscript, and this employee also went to a more senior employee, and the chain of employees continued to grow until they decided to send the manuscript to the Benecca Library, which specializes in manuscripts and rare books, but to no avail. And the chain of employees continued to grow from one employee to another to understand the manuscript, to no avail. Here, the director of the Benecca Library informed the National Security Agency in the United States. Scientists conducted a carbon analysis of the manuscript paper, an analysis used to determine the age of any artifact found, and it turned out that it was written between 1450 and 1500 AD. This means that it is not old. The manuscript contains on every page, apart from incomprehensible words and symbols, a group of geometric or astronomical shapes. It contains pictures of creatures practicing certain rituals, in addition to a group of strange plants and trees. These plants are not known to any botanist. Scientists do not have any existence on planet Earth. Despite the lack of numbering or indexing for the manuscript, scientists realized that there are missing pages from the manuscript due to the presence of some gaps between the pages. Since the manuscript was dated at the time of writing between the years 1450 and 1500, scientists concluded that the manuscript is related to witchcraft. Because this period is the period in which magic and sorcery appeared, the most experts are now using computers and artificial intelligence to try to decipher the manuscript, but so far to no avail. There are many hypotheses regarding this subject. For example, that the manuscript was written in an ancient dead language and no one knows anything about this language. And there are those who say that the whole subject was fabricated by the famous linguist Wilfried Michael Voynich. And of course, preparing old paper and old ink is not difficult for an expert like him, and his goal was to gain material gain. In the end, William Friedman, who was one of the greatest code-breaking experts of all time and was able to decipher the Japanese and German codes in World War II, for example, studied the manuscript for 40 years and was unable to decipher anything from it, and he said in the end that the one who made this manuscript was someone joking.
Don't forget to make like and subscribe.